Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all our witnesses for being here today. Today's hearing on so-called energy dominance presents us with a clear choice. We double down on fossil fuels that pollute our communities and drive up costs for working Americans, or invest in a clean energy future that creates jobs, strengthens national security, and lowers household energy bills. For decades, the fossil fuel industry has devastated frontline communities, leaving them with exorbitant health costs and environmental cleanup bills. Pollution disproportionately harms low-income and minority communities, leading to higher rates of asthma, cancer, and other life-threatening illnesses. And as a pulmonary critical care physician who's taken care of these folks, I can attest that this is not made-up fantasy. This is real and experienced every day across this country. In Louisiana's Cancer Alley, a predominantly Black community, cancer risks are nearly 50 times the national average due to the concentration of oil refineries and chemical plants. Indigenous lands are eroding from pipeline infrastructure, and historic Black neighborhoods have been abandoned due to toxic contamination. And these are exactly the kinds of costs that are ignored by most economic models that are supposed to estimate the financial impact of oil and gas extraction. The majority's witnesses are plugging unrealistic numbers, backed by rosy assumptions, into economic models to tell a story about how digging up all the oil and gas under public lands will be great for this country. Their economic models do not consider the costs of causing or exacerbating extreme weather events like Hurricane Helene. They ignore the rising healthcare costs from pollution-related illnesses. They fail to account for the fact that industries, consumers, and global markets are shifting toward clean energy, not out of ideology, but because it is increasingly the more affordable, stable, and secure option. They sidestep the fact that the volume of increases in extraction of oil and gas that they plug into the model are not even feasible for a host of reasons that have nothing to do with the policies they are asking for. Don't take my word for it. This is the CEO of ExxonMobil, Darren Woods, in November 2024. Their economic models do not consider the cost of causing or exacerbating extreme events. Yep, sorry. His quote, sorry. I don't think the level of production in the US is being constrained by external restrictions. I'm not sure how drill, baby, drill translates into policy. Certainly, we wouldn't see a change based on a political change, but more on an economic environment. I don't think there's anybody out there that's developing a business strategy to respond to a political agenda. That's the end of his quote. Why the emphasis on these models? Ahead of a massive reconciliation bill, this subcommittee is trying to inflate the economic impact of unrestrained drilling on our most cherished lands. They want the Congressional Budget Office, who estimates how much our legislation will cost, to think their estimates are real. If the CBO can be convinced that drilling would make a lot of money for the federal government, Republicans would be allowed to give even more of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars to big oil. Even the promise of fossil fuel-driven job growth rings hollow. Over the past decade, US oil and gas employment has declined by approximately 40%. At the same time, taxpayers are footing the bill for big oil. The fossil fuel industry receives $15 billion in subsidies each year. And what do we get in return? Price manipulation, collusion with foreign cartels, and rising energy costs for American families. The Trump administration's energy policies have cost America dearly. Since Trump's election, over 50,000 clean energy jobs have been lost, delayed, or threatened, along with $56.3 billion in new investments. And House Republicans are working to gut the Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy tax credits, the very incentives that have spurred a clean energy manufacturing boom, creating over 400,000 jobs and saving Americans $8.4 billion in energy costs in just 1 year. And we're already seeing the consequences. Utility companies in 16 states have hiked rates, some by as much as $32 per month, due to the uncertainty surrounding clean energy investments. If Republicans succeed in rolling back these tax credits, energy bills will increase by $32 billion over the next decade, costing families over $100 per year on average. There is a better way. Investing in clean energy strengthens national security, drives economic growth, and delivers real savings for consumers. In 2023, global clean energy investments surpassed $1.7 trillion, outpacing fossil fuel investments for the first time. The American people deserve real solutions, not more handouts to the oil and gas industry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.